Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Masnos Before You Die. I'm Nia, and this season we're exploring a topic that could help us get through our 20s successfully. These are all the topics that I wish I had known in my 20s. And today we have something special. We are exploring the topic that is central to all of our lives, and that is relationships, and the incredible way that they help us understand ourselves better. Whether it is with a partner, a friend, or even a colleague, our relationships are often the clearest mirrors we have, reflecting back to us the parts of ourselves that we might not always see. And relationships can be some of the most rewarding experiences that we have. But they can also be very challenging to a lot of us, especially the younger we are. They push us, they stretch us, and sometimes they reveal something about us that we might not be very keen on looking at. In your 20s, you're still discovering who you are. And that's okay. It's time for self-exploration, and our relationships usually reflect that. You might find that some friendships fade while new ones blossom. And in romantic relationships, you might be figuring out that you're getting what you want and need from a partner and you're satisfied, or that you're finding it very difficult to find a partner that you connect with. One of the keys to building a healthy relationship is being ourselves, understanding our own boundaries and being able to show that clearly. It's knowing what you're comfortable with and being able to express that to others. And at the same time, it's about seeing other people and learning to know who somebody is for who they are and respecting that. One of the first things to consider when thinking about relationships is the concept of attachment styles. Most of us might have heard of this term before, but attachment styles are actually very complicated. And actually, the second season of this podcast is gonna be digging deep on that topic, so that we can heal ourselves from the subconscious. But for those that are new to it, that are hearing about it for the first time, attachment styles are the patterns of how we relate to others, often shaped by our early experiences with our caregivers. They influence how we connect, how we trust, and how we handle intimacy and separation in our relationships. Understanding your attachment style can be incredibly helpful. It's like having a map of yourself, your emotions, that guides you through complex terrain of emotional connections. Whether your attachment style is secure or anxious or avoidant or somewhere in between, knowing this about yourself can help us navigate relationships more mindfully. It can also help us understand why certain patterns keep on showing up in our connections with others. It can be transformative for our lives if we don't already have a secure attachment. So I'm actually really excited for season 2. Subscribe right now if you don't want to miss it. But beyond attachment styles, relationships have this unique way of bringing out the parts of us that we might not be fully aware of. This can act as a kind of spotlight, highlighting not just what our strengths are, but also what our triggers are and our insecurities and our deepest desires. For example, you might notice that certain situations in a relationship trigger you, or they might bring up feelings of jealousy or insecurity or even unexpected joy. These emotions, more than just they're just more than reactions. They are clues, um, pointing out parts of ourselves that might need attention, healing, or further exploration. Relationships can also reveal our values and our priorities. Perhaps you didn't realize how important communication is to you until you found yourself frustrated in a relationship where it's lacking. Or maybe you might be feeling a certain emotion, but you might be really struggling to form that into words. Or maybe you're noticing a deep need for independence when you're in a relationship that you otherwise wouldn't notice. And this might be a good point to investigate what parts of you are afraid, for example, to lean on another person, or why a certain situation is bringing up heavy feelings in us that might feel puzzling. I personally find these little or not so little revelations very incredibly valuable. These are like little windows into what could be going on in our inner world, showing us what really matters to us and also where we might need to grow. They help us see not just who we are in the context of a relationship, but who we are as an individual. And it's not just about uncovering challenges and areas of improvement. Relationships also highlight your strengths and our capacity for love and empathy and patience and support. They show us how resilient we can be. They show us how capable of giving we are, or how much capable of we are receiving, which both are important in relationships and in interactions with other people. So what does this really mean for us? It means that every relationship we have is an opportunity for growth. Especially when we are younger, it's a chance to learn more about ourselves and to understand our needs and boundaries better. Not that this is not important as we get older. Honestly, I'm still discovering a lot about myself when I interact with new people. But especially in our 20s, it's best to let go of a goal for our friendships and relationships and have them as pure interactions with other people where we learn things about ourselves and other people and also the world. So, whichever relationships you have in your life right now, whether it is a romantic relationship or a friendship, new or old, or whether it is navigating work relationships, it's take the time to reflect on what these connections are teaching you and pay attention to the emotions that arise, the patterns that emerge, and the ways in which you change and grow through your interactions with others. Just because you haven't found that special person, or because your work relationships or friendships don't seem to bring out anything big, it doesn't mean that your time is wasted. Everyone goes at their own pace. The one thing I want you to remember is that experimentation and engagement with life is the most important thing. It's the point of life, really. Progress and experience, in my opinion, is the purpose of life and not a certain destination. So, to leave you with some practical tips, if you're in a place where you're not satisfied with your relationships, how can you change that? First, take a moment to think about what matters most to you. What are your values? And what things resonate with you? What causes do you care about the most? What kind of people do you want to surround yourself with? These are, I think, very important very important points to reflect on. Understanding these things can guide you to make choices that align with who you are and what you care about. What most of us usually do when we meet new people, especially new groups of people, is that we try to belong, and we change ourselves and even our opinions to fit in. It's mostly unconscious, but to find people who you truly relate with, we have to be able to speak our truth, to let who we are and our experiences and our opinions be known. Next, don't be afraid to reach out and to connect with others, whether it is joining a group or volunteering or simply reaching out to somebody you admire. Taking that first step can open the doors to new relationships. Finding people and communities takes time. So don't be afraid to go out and to be seen trying and to approach people with open heart. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me. And if you know somebody who you think might benefit from this conversation, feel free to share this podcast with them. And remember, we are all in this together, and the more we connect, the stronger we become. We all need very strong support system to not just survive but also thrive. So until next time, take care of yourself and keep on spreading kindness in the world around you. I'm Nia, and this has been Mesnos Before You Die. I can't wait to chat with you again soon.